The Get Rich Slow Club podcast is a collaboration between Tash Etchman from Tash Invest and Ana Christina from Perla. The Get Rich Slow Club acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land we record on. From coast to coast, across land, waters, and communities, we pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. Any advice is general and does not consider your financial situation, needs, or objectives, so consider whether it's appropriate for you.
Welcome to the Get Rich Slow Club podcast,
where we take you from beginner to confident investor,
where we can teach you everything you need to know about investing.
So come get rich slow with us. When it comes to investing, habits are really important because small things that we do can actually have a huge impact on our finances. So today, we're going to talk about how habits can be incorporated into your financial goals. But before we do, Tash, what's your money win or loss of the week?
We had our book launch here in Perth last night, and someone in the audience actually asked us what our money win or loss was of the day, which I thought was so good. So I'll share yesterday's one. I was in the airport looking at some really good books that I wanted to read, and they were all $33, obviously, because it was the airport. I went to Kmart and got them both for $16 each. So that was a big money win.
That's a huge money win. I was actually thinking of you as I was walking through the airport. I was like, I need Tash to suggest a book because I need a book for the flight home.
I've got so many good ones.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, because I know you've mentioned even some that are more finance, like that are fiction, but touch on finance. I think one was called something Pineapple.
Yeah, Pineapple Street. It's about wealth inequality. So someone is in a relationship with someone from a really rich and wealthy family, and it's how she kind of struggles to fit in and all the cultures and customs and things that she's not used to, which is really interesting.
I'm going to have to find that one before I get on the plane.
And another one I've been loving is by Robin Harding. I think it's called The Haters. It's about, the book's about an author who writes a book, but she gets heaps of bad reviews and lots of hate. And then it kind of crosses into her real life, and it shows like how much one bad review can ruin someone's life in the end. And people are like, oh, it's a review. Like you should expect to get bad reviews because you wanted to write a book. But yeah, it's so interesting seeing it laid out like that. And it's a thriller, so it's more exciting and people die. But
okay. I was going to say that's very applicable to our lives at the moment. But hopefully no one dies reading our book or or any bad reviews.
But just so good people being like, oh, but why does it matter? Like, of course people are going to rate your book badly if they don't like it. But just seeing like the effects of that when you scroll on Twitter and you scroll on your like book reviews and you scroll on Instagram and people are coming for you from all angles.
Yeah, and the mental health impact of that as well. I know recently I think I posted something on social media about how women over the age of 55 are the largest demographic, that the growing cohort when it comes to homelessness and poverty. And so many people are like, you're a feminist, and like in a negative sense. And
what about the men who are homeless?
I know, that was one of them too. It went on and on, but anyways. So my money win, I got asked that, like when we got asked yesterday, was just about getting ramen in the city and saving my hunger for actually like good food instead of airport food. But yeah, I love good food, spending money on food.
Yeah. This is a very privileged complaint, but Virgin changed its airport lounge food and I'm a bit upset about it.
Oh no.
Yeah, they got rid of my favorite like pastas and now they've got these like healthy salady things where it's just like, I want my creamy pasta back. Yeah.
I wonder how much they're saving on their costs.
Probably lots because no one's eating it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh well.
All right, well, let's dive in to habits. So this episode was really inspired by Atomic Habits. The book Atomic Habits, if you haven't read it, is really about how habits, small little habits that you take on can actually impact your life in huge ways. And we both love that book. So let's just talk about some habits.
Have you read the whole thing?
I have the book, yeah. Not recently, but a while ago.
I've read parts of it, but I've never read the whole thing in one go. But I've heard lots about it. So you can be the expert here.
I'll be the expert, but it's been a while. So some of the big takeaways, I think, from that book is if you want to get rid of a bad habit, it's like creating friction. So when it comes to money and spending money, creating friction is a really, really great way for you to not spend money.
One of my favorite examples of this that I've been talking about recently is I get a new credit card. Well, I tend to get a new credit card every 12 months and I usually cancel the old one. But I found this has been really good for trying to get rid of subscriptions because once you cancel your credit card and all of your subscriptions and direct debits are there, you have to be really intentional about what you're going to actually sign up to again. And I find as soon as I have to actually go through the process of logging in, remembering my password, putting in my card details again, I don't really need Stan and Binge and this random game I've been playing on my phone. So that's been such a good hack for that.
I've been doing that as well, like unintentionally. And when I saw you post that, I was like, yes, that's exactly what I do. And sometimes you had something going on and you're like, oh, I wanted to cancel that and I just didn't. So it's such a great way to be like, well, now they don't have my credit card.
And it's like the sunk cost fallacy as well. With Audible, I had this where I was like, oh, I don't want to cancel it because I don't want to lose all my credits that I've paid for. So I should use them first before I cancel it. But then I was just not canceling it endlessly, which is such a waste of money as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. Friction is so important. The other thing that I would create a lot of friction when I was trying to build out my savings as well was I would put my savings in a completely different bank where it was inaccessible. So I would transfer money into it and automate that, but then I would also delete that bank off my phone. So it wasn't easy to like switch it back or look at it or track it. I'd actually have to like log into the computer or download the app again. And that was just an easy way to kind of set and forget, automate. Again, automating investing is just really easy. This is automating my savings. And that was I created friction, but also created an easy way to move my money over to savings.
Yeah. You've probably heard someone say this like a lot already, but also delete all of your card information from your laptop and your phone because it's a lot. I find I don't want to buy stuff if I have to get up to go find my card to then put it in. But if it's there and you can just like press one button and it does your finger ID and then all of a sudden you can buy something. It's really easy.
Oh my gosh. I know this is going to sound really silly, but I didn't know that you can log into your bank app and actually get all your credit card details there. So did you know this?
On some of them, yes.
On some of them,
Westpac,
But I didn't know this. And so I was like, oh, I have to get up and go get my credit card to pay for this because I was on my laptop and I didn't have access to like Apple Pay or whatever. And my partner's like, you could just log into the app. And I was like, oh,
don't tell me
that. Like, it was nice to not have that. But
I don't think I have that with ANZ, but I do with Westpac, but I've just cancelled that card. So not anymore.
So you're going to make it harder for yourself to spend money.
But then I've got like a few $100s always in Up kind of as like a second emergency fund, just money that I can always spend easily. And that one I can use the card details on there, but there's not endless money in that one. And there's also the friction of finding it and logging in again because I don't use it every day.
Yeah, fair enough.
Another one I love is grocery shopping online as well. So you can just make sure that you can reorder everything, which is a lot easier and you can see the total too. I think this doesn't really add friction, but it kind of takes away the chance that you'll be walking through the shops and seeing all the things that you don't actually need and being tempted by them.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. In a way, you're making something easier by automating it, but also you're able to see what the price is going to be. And you can sort by unit price, which is so important because then you're getting the best value. And that's something that you have to do the mental math when you're in the shops.
And it makes it harder to get that treat because you have to go and search for it. It's usually not just like being highlighted there unless you're looking through the specials because that can be pretty tempting sometimes, but it's not like you're walking through the shops, all the specials are at eye level and you're like, wow, I definitely need this. What did I eat recently? The Freddo chocolate biscuits. They're quite yum.
I haven't tried those now.
Yeah, they were $2 the other day. Didn't need them, but they were right at my eye level.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what we do is often if we see specific ice cream on sale, I love this like bubble tea ice cream that comes out of Woolies.
Yeah,
I know. I love bubble tea.
I think that's getting so excessive.
It's like, I know, but it's like they have like little like the pearls inside.
Wait, what is it? Ice cream that has the jelly bits?
Yeah. So it's like a popsicle kind of on a stick. What do you guys call it? Icy pulls?
Yeah. Okay.
But it's bubble tea flavored with the pearls inside. Yeah. So when that goes on sale, I'll buy like a bunch of boxes.
Yeah. Yeah. That is something I would never ever search for unless I'd seen it like kind of advertised to me at the shops.
Yeah. And now that I know I love it, we only buy desserts on sale. So that's like another friction point is that if dessert, candy, ice cream, not that we buy it a lot, but sometimes we'll buy it and it'll be we'll put it in the freezer or whatnot, but only if it's on sale. So that's like a piece of friction. And we've talked about this before, like with me not using Uber Eats because I've made a rule that I'm not going to use Uber.
Yeah.
So if I need to get food to go, I have to drive there. And just creating that friction has been a really good way to save money and be like, all right, we're just going to have eggs on toast for dinner.
Yeah. I love how excited you got about the time you got a chicken for dinner and you were like, oh, we had takeaway and it was so exciting. And it makes me realize that I have made it too easy for myself because I'm not that excited about it anymore.
Because I used to eat out all the time. And then now having a family and kids, it just costs more. So eating out is not as affordable as it was before because you have to accommodate them and et cetera. So it has made exactly that a treat, like something spontaneous and exciting. And my kid now asks me when I do pick up, are we going to buy dinner? And I'm like, This has now become a treat, like for you as well, like the spontaneity. It's not even the eating of the food that we haven't made. It's the actually going to the location to go pick something up has become exciting.
Do you have a set day that you do it now or is it just as a blast resort backup?
It's when we run out of groceries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So often we run out of groceries right at the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the worst because buying online, you don't want to go to the shops, but buying online, like half the stuff is not available. I don't know if you've found that.
Yes, especially like when I do it on Uber, because sometimes they have the $20 off groceries, which is great. But then the shopware, I feel like they don't even look sometimes. They'll just be like, oh, sorry, milk's not available. It's the swaps are so interesting sometimes.
Oh, the swaps are so frustrating. Sometimes we have to like say no swaps on stuff. There are these specific noodles, and I don't remember the name of them, that are really good.
Yeah.
And when those are out, like we do not want to get swapped with anything else.
I remember you saying, was it you or your partner bought like boxes and boxes of them? Yeah.
Yeah. And they're hard to find. I can't remember the name. I've had a few people ask me, but my partner would also be upset if I told everyone, and then all of a sudden it's even harder to get.
You'll get
secret noodles that are really good. Go do your own research.
So we've covered lots of ways that you can make it harder to spend money. Definitely worth thinking about what you're doing with your spending and those kind of leaks that you have and how you can make it harder for yourself. I think a really good one, like I've moved around quite a bit recently and I've lived in a few different places. And I found when I live on a street that doesn't have a coffee shop, I don't spend as much money casually. So definitely being a little bit, if you can, and if you've got the freedom to, like thinking about where you want to live as well. Like the convenience seems so great of having an IGA underneath you or a coffee shop underneath you, but will that actually cause you to spend more money? Quite possibly.
Yeah. And then similarly, when I worked in the city, what was important to me is to be walking distance to the city, but that makes it more unaffordable when it comes to rent. So there are certain trade-offs where you're like, how can this fit in my lifestyle? Yes, it might be more expensive to live here, but because of that, I don't have to maybe spend as much money at the gym because I'm walking more. It's closer. I don't have to spend on transportation. So some of those trade-offs of making things easier versus harder are things we need to consider when we're saving money.
And then it fits into like health as well. I walk to my Pilates studio now, which is great because it's like a 9-minute walk, which is very doable. So it's a lot easier to go. I sometimes hate driving to places when I have to mentally think of finding a car park and my brain's just like, no, don't want to do it today. But walking is, you know where you're going. You can just autopilot walk. It's very easy. But there is a Baker's Delight very close by. And every time I see it, I'm like, oh, the scone's only $2.40 or whatever it is. So trade-offs.
Yeah. Or the treat after something. I don't know if you do this, but I know a lot of people will be like, well, I went to the gym, so now I can like get a treat. Or I think I've said this before, like because I go to the mall so infrequently, I'll be like, well, I'm at the mall. I might as well get a bubble tea because like I can't make that at home. And
I've done
being
this
aware
with
of that.
smoothie bowls in Melbourne because there's no smoothie bowls in Canberra. There's like one place and they're a bit average. So whenever I go to Melbourne now, I'll get a smoothie bowl, which is a very expensive habit because they're like $16 to $18 now. And yeah. And I'm like, oh, I'm in Melbourne like every few weeks anyway.
I've never had a smoothie bowl.
Fave Cup. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called in South Yarra. I'm going.
Okay. We'll have to go there next time.
So what are some ways to make habits easier? So we've decided we don't want to spend money on certain things like scones.
Yeah. Make
Uber
friction
Eats.
there. Yeah.
What about making things easier?
Yeah. So making things easier, one of the big ones is literally just automating things. And a lot of that comes down to bank account stuff. So if you want to make sure that you aren't late on a credit card payment, it's good to automate that, provided you have money in your bank account and you've got a good handle on that because you don't want to accidentally be in the negative. That's an extra fee.
Yeah. And prioritize actually doing that early on. I know we've spoken about this so much about my Westpac credit card because I had to print out a form to automate it and I get it direct debited out. So I didn't do it. And I had a few times where I got charged the $15 fee for being a day late with it, but definitely worth like prioritizing getting that done and automating it because it's probably worth the hustle of printing it out once to save yourself those $15 charges.
Did you ever end up automating that?
No, it was too hard. I cancelled it.
You cancelled it, yeah.
I ended up putting it in my calendar to do it every, like a few days before it was due. But then I was just like, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. That reminds me of that dispute that I was trying to do with my, is it Microsoft for my, my subscription. And I just spent way too much time on the phone trying to negotiate that and get that removed. And then it's just like, you just wasted your time and time is money. So just make your life easier for yourself.
Yeah, because I think it would have been easier with Westpac if I actually banked with Westpac. Because I think you could automate it from like your Westpac everyday account, but not from an external bank that easily, which I think is them just trying to keep you inside their circle.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, but Amex makes it easy to automate.
Amex is great for that. Yeah, Amex is really easy. So we talked a little bit about credit cards and just being aware of that. The other thing that we also mentioned was automating money into your savings. So that's a really easy one. Both of us, I think we pay ourselves first. So money comes in and we automatically transfer money over for savings, but the same thing goes for investing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I've automated my investing for years now, which is great. Like I don't need to look at it. I'm not getting distracted. I'm not trying to fiddle with things that don't need to be fiddled with. And I can't keep putting it off because it's just done for me.
Yeah, that's great. And for people who are using things like micro, it's really easy to do things like round up. So for anyone who's investing through a micro account, A roundup essentially is let's say you're spending $4.50 on a coffee, that 50 cents gets rounded up to $5 and you just have 50 cents that went into investing. So that's a really easy way not to think about it, not to notice money that is being invested and growing on the side for you. Another one that is related to money in a different way is the importance of improving 1% every day. And this is a big thing that is talked about in Atomic Habits as well. And I love to think about this in terms of your job. Is there something that you can do at work so you can be 1% better, 1% more efficient, 1% a better employee? Because that is going to translate into your income, right?
And it compounds.
And it compounds over time. Not only that, but then you're a better employee, you're more skilled, people think about you for raises. Those skills are transferable. So if you want to leave your role and go somewhere else, the big thing is, can you improve 1% every day? And I think that is totally possible.
Yeah, I'm a very all or nothing person and I need to keep reminding myself of this. Like I love to get a bit distracted by the big shiny things and making huge changes, whereas those small changes really do add up over the long term. It's been 4 years since I've been on Instagram, which is exciting, but it's crazy to look back on that and see how the small changes and consistent effort has led us to where we are now, which is crazy. But back then I would never have thought that the small changes would have mattered at all.
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree with you. I know it's 4 years for you. It's been 4 years since I started officially blogging also in August.
Oh,
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So we have
the same anniversary.
Same anniversary, but went different paths, right? But that's an example of that, right? Just posting a little bit every day. Who would have guessed that you're writing a book, you have a podcast, you have all of this stuff, all from just starting out, starting somewhere, doing something. And similarly for me, it's completely changed my career trajectory and also my income and my lifestyle.
Yeah, I used to find this with exercise as well. Like I'd get obsessed with something, do it 6 days a week, and then I would hate it and never go back for a while and have a few weeks where I would do nothing. But now I found having the bare minimums is a lot more achievable. And then I do it a lot more regularly, where I just say I'll just go for a half an hour walk instead of having to commit to the full half an hour run or something like that.
Yeah, having more achievable things as opposed to going full in. This reminds me, I think I was telling you last month, I was posting on social media every single day for a full month. And I was like, yes, I did it. And then I felt burnt out. I was like, oh my God, I did a full month. I don't want to post for a while. And our friend, Howell Engel, said, you know what? It's better to do twice a week than every single day and be consistent forever twice a week than try to just go full out. And it's back to that whole comment of just 1% better, just being consistent,
Yeah. There is merit in, especially with content, doing that short block of really consistent, like if you're doing it every single day, because you learn so much. And if you're just doing it on and off, it can be hard to actually learn what's working and what's not. So I think, those concentrated blocks can be very good still.
Yes. Well, I mean, it was great. I learned so much in that full month because I was like, I'm going to learn, I'm going to try things. I think I was asking you as well. You laughed at me because one day I posted at 11 p.m. at night. And I'm like, it's okay. I did it. I still made it. Yeah. But we learn a lot. However, it needs to be sustainable, like anything, right? If we feel like we're going to burn out or we're going to give up, it's not a habit that we can hold on to, right? Another thing when it comes to being 1% better every day is celebrating our wins. And I think we don't do that enough. I love actually writing things that I've accomplished for the year, like on the side, even if they're small, just so I can celebrate them, because you might do something and then be like, okay, cool, that's done. Yay, I'm very excited in the moment, and you forget about it. But when you look back and you see a list of everything you've accomplished over the year, that's pretty cool. And sometimes it can be really small things like putting yourself out there, starting a Instagram page or doing something that might be really, really small, but that compounding again is huge over time.
Do you have any examples of habit stacking that have helped you with your finances? I know Atomic Habits is so big on stacking habits together.
Yeah. I do more of them in terms of other things, but when it comes to finances, but one of the things I do is I track my net worth and I track my finances. So when I do that, it makes me actually physically go in and also look at my budget. So because I do that monthly, it's kind of like habit stacking both, tracking where I am at holistically, like monthly and annually, but then also looking at my budget and being like, what did I spend on? Where did this coffee come from? And this one, and then it allows me to be aware of my whole financial kind of situation.
My friend Maddie, so Money with Maddie, she started her own business, The Money Lounge, but she was saying she has a fortnightly goal setting session with her friends, and they'll go out for dinner and then they'll have like a little session afterwards. But that seems to be such a good routine for her, where they bring their notebooks, they talk about what they're working on, and that seems like such a great way to do that as well.
Having an accountability buddy is so important.
And don't stack the wrong habits together. Like Pilates and scone doesn't need to be a habit that's stacked together.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Be careful of the things that are normalized. I see this as well when I used to work like in an office, people normalizing buying lunch every day. And that was just their routine where they go for a walk. I'll get a coffee, get lunch, and then walk back. And that was just what they did. And it's hard to break out of those habits when you're so used to that.
Well, one of the things he talks about in the book is also it's easier to start new habits when you're in a new location.
Yes, I've found this.
Yeah, it really is, because it's just a completely different, you're not like set in your ways. So it is hard to break those things, but you can do them little by little. Like one of the things my partner has started doing is at lunchtime, he'll go up and make lunch, sometimes ramen, that I won't disclose which one, or like noodles, yeah. And at the same time, while things are cooking, like while things are boiling, he'll go and do a workout. He'll do like a bunch of burpees and this and that. So that's an example of habit stacking. Like you're trying to make a meal, but because you're making that meal, you're also creating a habit on the side, which is working out. And the two kind of align with each other. All of a sudden you're working out, you're feeling better. You want to eat healthier. Chances are a lot of times, like eating healthy may not be as expensive as not eating healthy, right? Like processed food can be really expensive. Not saying that vegetables aren't. They are. Lettuce can be.
Yes, no lettuce. If you shop out of season, yeah.
Yeah. But nonetheless, that's a way of thinking about your health holistically, because your health is also wealth, right? Like you spend so much money on food, and thinking about that and being cognizant of that is really important.
Yeah. One that I haven't even thought of habit stacking is I like to read my book on the treadmill, because sometimes I don't feel like walking on the treadmill. I'm like, oh, I can't be bothered with that. But when I'm really excited about a book, I'll happily go walk on the treadmill to read my book.
Yeah.
And I found it so good because you kind of get absorbed in the book and you forget that an hour has gone by, which is great. That's such a good habit to do both things at once.
Yeah. Another thing that I've kind of gotten really excited about is as I'm cleaning out, like the kids are growing up, right? So as I'm cleaning out their closets, I'm taking photos of everything and I'll just like put it right away on Facebook Marketplace. So it just takes away that kind of friction of being like, oh, I should go and sell things, or I should actually do something online. I'll just like take a quick photo, quickly upload it, and then someone will message me and go and pick it up. And I've now made some money just by quickly taking a photo. So that's another way of being able to, instead of like procrastinating and being like, I'll do it later, how do you make it easier so that you're in the habit of taking photos and uploading?
And notice what you're procrastinating and try and like stop that straight away. Yeah, I procrastinate so much stuff, but yeah, they're the things you actually need to sort out straight away. So starting off by making spending money harder, creating those friction things, we're going to make those good habits easier. So automating your finances, making good choices, and then also being picky about where we live as well, as I think is a great one.
Yeah, and celebrating our wins.
Yes.
Remember? Yeah,
Yes.
that one's a really, really important one, I think.
Yay.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much for joining us. If you found this episode helpful, please rate us 5 stars, write a review, or share with a friend. If you're new to investing, make sure to listen to our first 10 episodes. Follow us at Get Rich Slow Club or Tash at Tash Invest, or me at Ana Christina.
This show was brought to you by Natasha Etchman, who is an authorized representative 1299881 of Guideway Financial Services, AFSL 420367, and Perla, who is an authorized representative 1281540 of Sanlam Private Wealth, AFSL 337927. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to investing. So make sure you check out our financial services guides and read the product disclosure statement and target market determination for any investments you're considering. See our show notes for more info.